Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after they just re-signed defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing. Typically we do a fact-based question for those of you viewing, but this is more of a fun, opinionated one. In a fight, who do you think would win, Ndamukong Suh or Aaron Donald? Two of the biggest guys in the NFL. Who's winning that fight? Comment down below who you think it will be. But in all seriousness, getting into this topic, Ndamukong Suh is signing a one-year deal back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, $9 million, and I believe it is fully guaranteed plus incentives. This is perfectly great if you're a Buccaneers fan. Not so much if you're any other fan of the rest of the league, but the Buccaneers got pretty much the entire band back together. You know, the biggest question marks in free agency from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' point of view was, of course, their own team and Shaq Barrett, Chris Godwin, Lavonte David, Ndamukong Suh, Rob Gronkowski, and then the other two guys, Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown, still yet to be signed. Those are still question marks, but if you're a Bucs fan, yes, I'm a Bucs fan as well. Yes, I want those other guys back, Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette, but at this point, we are just being greedy if we're being honest. I mean, the fact that we got back the big three of Lavonte David, Shaq Barrett, and Chris Godwin is enough. Then Rob Gronkowski and Ndamukong Suh are just cherries on top to this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team at another run for the Super Bowl, trying to go back-to-back. If you just look at their roster right now, defensive line might be the best in the NFL. I know that's a bold statement, but between Shaq Barrett and JPP, both on the two ends, and then in the front, in the center of the defensive line, at the defensive tackle position, you got Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh. We had the number one rushing defense last year, and our pass rush is only going to get better as this team's chemistry builds up. You got arguably one of the top linebacker duos in the NFL between Lavonte David and Devin White. The secondary's held down pretty well. Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Antoine Winfield Jr., Whitehead, I think it's Jason or James Whitehead, the other safeties on that team. That's basically the entire Buccaneers starting lineup, and this team, I seriously think, could become one of the best defenses in the NFL if they are not already. I think they already are there, but now that they have an extra year of chemistry together, they have the Super Bowl win under their belt, the amount of chemistry that's going to build up on this team and the love for the game between these guys is just going to be so immense that this team is going to be one of the top defenses in the NFL, and I'm not even looking at the offense yet. Of course, you got Tom Brady. Kind of a side note, didn't want to make a whole video on this, but the Buccaneers did re-sign their left tackle, Donovan Smith, to a 2-year extension, so that is good news as well. So you got Donovan Smith, you got Wirfs, and this team is really coming together. Donovan Smith is not the youngest, but that offensive line is extremely stout. The receiving core, you know how good that is. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. That receiving core, even the rookie last year, Tyron Johnson, is a stacked receiving core all around, and AB is still a question mark, and I really want him back, but I just don't see it happening with Ndamukong Suh signing $9 million, and I'm happy with Suh coming back. He was really important to that defensive line, not only for the pass rush because he's double teamed part of the time because he's so big, but for that run game, he shuts it down, him and Vita Vea up the middle. That is huge for this defense all around, and just even him getting up there in age, Suh is never known for his sack numbers by any means, but the double team and the run coverage, like I said, but now also his wisdom and experience that he has at, I don't know his exact age, probably 32, 33 years old. But all around, there's really no holes on this Buccaneers team. You got the GOAT, Tom Brady. Leonard Fournette will possibly be gone as well, but you have Rojo and Ronald Jones, who I believe in as a running back. And the Bucs still have an NFL draft. You know, if you want to get super picky, the offense line is not near perfect. It is up there, but it's not perfect. And the secondary as well, it is a good secondary, but it's not perfect. You know, maybe look at a corner in the NFL draft, looking at an extra tackle, but I'm really just nitpicking this team all around. They are great. Like I said, in the secondary, you got Whitehead, you got Sean Murphy-Bunting, you got Antoine Winfield Jr., you got Carlton Davis, and then on the defensive line, and in the front seven, Devin White, Lavonte David, and Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, William Golston, Shaq Barrett, JPP on the offense, Tristan Wirfs, Donovan Smith on the offensive line, holding it down on both sides, both tackle sides, Tom Brady and Rojo in the backfield, and the receiving core, probably one of the best in the NFL as well. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller. I know I'm a little redundant, but overall, and Bruce Arians, and you didn't lose any of your coordinators in Todd Bowles or Byron Leftwich. That is huge and an underrated part for most teams when they lose their coordinators. I feel like that goes underrated. The Rams this year, them losing Brandon Staley as a defensive coordinator might hurt them. I don't know, but I mean, obviously that Rams defense did lose their top safety and a good slot corner as well. But I'm just saying it's a good point. I mean, you look at the Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl. The very next year, Kyle Shanahan left. They haven't been the same since. When the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, their offensive coordinator, Frank Wright, left. They haven't been the same yet since. So for the Buccaneers to keep their coordinators and pretty much keep the same exact roster, this team is going places. I'm a Buccaneers fan, so I'm a little biased, but I really think this team has a great shot at a Super Bowl run. I mean, you have the GOAT. And while Tom Brady, if you're being completely honest, might not be the absolute most God-given skilled quarterback of all time, but from the neck up, he's the smartest quarterback of all time. He works harder than anyone else, and he is the GOAT in general. He is the greatest of all time, and I do think this team has a great shot at going back-to-back. And to be honest, I've said it before, Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard and Rob Gronkowski. I love those three tight ends, but the Buccaneers do not need all three of them. So if they decide to release Cameron Brate or O.J. Howard, that releases $6 million for just one of them. So $12 million if they release both. I doubt that would happen. But I seriously think the Bucs will be interested in releasing one of those guys to save them $6 to $6.5 million. And then that $6 million could go towards a Leonard Fournette or towards an Antonio Brown. I'm not sure how cheap Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown will be coming off a Super Bowl win, kind of revamping their names in the NFL. But either way, whatever route they go, I have faith in the Buccaneers. They're putting it together. I've heard Mike Evans, he's already said he'll restructure and fix his money up. So maybe you release an O.J. Howard, who I like and still I think never reached his top potential by any means. But they didn't need him last year. They won without him because he was hurt the whole year. If you release him, Mike Evans restructures his contract and you save an extra $2 million. You now got $8 million in salary cap to go out and re-sign in Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette. And yes, of course, you need to save money for the draft. You can't spend every penny ever, but there are options out there for the Bucs to get absolutely everyone back. And I know I'm being greedy. Outside of the big three of Shaq Barrett, Chris Godwin, and Levante David, if they just stopped there, that was enough. But now that they got Suh and Gronk as well, this team, NFC to win it won't be easy by any means. The LA Rams got Matt Stafford now. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will always be competitive. Russell Wilson finally getting some help on the offense. The 49ers are going to get healthy. The Cardinals made a couple moves, signing A.J. Green and J.J. Watt. I think the Vikings are a solid team, especially them signing Patrick Peterson. If the Bears make a huge trade, who knows? NFC East, scratch that. I think someone will come out there, and I don't think it'll be a below 500 playoff team, but I don't think any NFC East team is a serious Super Bowl contender that could really stay on the Bucs. So the Bucs path to the Super Bowl won't be easy by any means, but I do think they will have a better year this year than last year. Drew Brees won't be in your division. You're getting all these guys back together, so when you play with guys for a longer time, you play better together. So this chemistry is just really going to up their game. They're going to probably win the division, in my opinion. And if Deshaun Watson gets traded to the NFC, this throws a wrench in everything, but I still got faith in the Buccaneers. A lot of things have to play out. A good amount of free agency left, a good amount of quarterback carousel left, and the NFL draft is still yet to come. So who knows? Injuries are always a possibility, but as of right now, on paper, I really like this Bucs team to go back-to-back. I think you got possibly the greatest defensive line in the NFL right now. You arguably have the best linebacker duo in the NFL right now. We know how athletic Levante David is. We know how great Devin White is, and he's only 22 years old. Things are only going to get better for the Buccaneers. And like I said, they might be able to draft an extra corner, an extra offensive lineman in the draft, but even then, it is not a necessity. I'm just nitpicking at this point. This Bucs team is going places. There's no way they don't make the playoffs, and I hate to be, the biased guy that likes the Bucs, but you can't tell me they don't look at least NFC Championship bound at this point. They're not missing anything, and they got everything back. Band's back together. Tom Brady called it, and he said he's got eyes on it. I believe in them. I love this move by the Buccaneers to re-sign Ndamukong Suh. I was okay if he went elsewhere, but for him to come back, cherry on top, like I said, things cannot get better. I'm really happy to see this move, and I can't wait to see where the Bucs go. But back to the question today. Comment below what you guys think of the video overall. Like, what do you think of Suh and the move to the Buccaneers? Do you think the Bucs go back-to-back? And, of course, the question, who will win that fight, Ndamukong Suh or Aaron Donald? At this age, I think Aaron Donald would take Suh, but by means, they're both pushing 300 pounds for sure, so the fight would be great, but either way, we won't see it happen. Thanks for watching, guys. 2 in the morning.